Here is the Burzes audiobook channel. You are currently listening to the fantasy novel, The Ethereal Journey. Chapter 6. Bandits Sealing the City. Li Qiang had never expected Zhao Hao's foundation to be so weak. Looking at this old disciple, older than his own father, with such a strong thirst for knowledge, Li Qiang couldn't bear to deceive him. After inquiring in detail about Zhao Hao's cultivation process, Li Qiang was surprised to find that he had actually relied on a half-understood knowledge of martial arts, seeking teachers and friends everywhere, and collecting cultivation methods from all possible sources. Somehow, he had to cultivate himself to the Kaiguang stage, which filled Li Qiang with admiration and emotion. Li Qiang decided to guide him in his cultivation. Although Li Qiang had just begun his own cultivation, his conditions were excellent. Not only did he have the purple flame heart laying a solid foundation, but he also had the jade pupil scroll given to him by Fu Shan, which was equivalent to the classics of Fu Shan's sect and contained a variety of cultivation methods. Compared to Zhao Hao, the difference was like heaven and earth. Zhao Hao had deviated in the first step of cultivation, the Xianzhao stage, and after more than 30 years of forced cultivation, he had dangerously progressed to the Kaiguang stage. Li Qiang had to let him start over from the Xianzhao stage and taught him how to cultivate properly. At this point, Zhao Hao realized that his previous efforts had been wasted. The Xianzhao stage was the most fundamental foundation-building method for cultivators and was crucial for future cultivation. During cultivation, 5 attributes of cultivation stones, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, were used. The body was the formation, creating a small universe that absorbed energy from the outside to the inside, gradually changing the constitution, adapting to the use of refined energy, and making it operate skillfully. As soon as Zhao Hao understood, he immediately asked to begin cultivating. "Master, I will cultivate in the Qian position of the defensive formation. What do you think?" Zhao Hao asked, his spirit refreshed. Li Qiang smiled and said, "Go tell your family first. Once you sit down to cultivate, you don't know when you'll wake up. I also have a few more things to cultivate." As he entered into cultivation again, Li Qiang couldn't help but admire the ingenuity of Fu Shan's design. The shape of this hand crossbow resembled a soaring eagle, only the size of a palm, and could be attached to the back of the hand. The attack formation inside the hand crossbow was delicate and intricate, almost too difficult for Li Qiang to handle. Li Qiang understood that the smaller the formation, the higher the cultivation requirements for the practitioner. Small objects had less room for maneuver, such as swords, which were the most difficult to craft. Designing a complete attack formation in a sword body that was only 8 inches long or even smaller was beyond the reach of ordinary experts. Fortunately, Fu Shan had already completed the formation, and what was missing was just energy. Li Qiang charged the formation with energy, activated it, and made slight modifications to the appearance of the hand crossbow, completing his second weapon cultivation. Next, he cultivated a spear. This spear was quite unique, about 2 meters long, with a 1 meter long blade that was stacked with 8 sharp edges. The blade could rotate like fan blades. This time, Li Qiang didn't spend much effort and quickly completed the cultivation, only adding barbs to each blade for aesthetics. Finally, he cultivated a precious sword for Zhao Hao. Li Qiang hesitated. There were several swords in his bracelet, but Zhao Hao's cultivation level was not sufficient. A precious sword required the owner to personally inject energy into it for cultivation, otherwise, it could not be controlled. Without proper cultivation, it would be no different from an ordinary steel sword. After much deliberation, Li Qiang came up with a compromise. He took out a 3-foot-long precious sword, modified the attack formation inside the blade into a simple energy storage formation, and embedded 4 earth and water elemental Xian stones as the foundation. As long as Zhao Hao injected a little true yuan energy into it, this sword would be able to cut through anything, but it wouldn't pose much of a threat to cultivators. Li Qiang realized that after cultivating weapons for a long time, his own cultivation seemed to have made considerable progress, and his ability to manipulate true yuan had greatly improved, which made him very excited. Glancing at Zhao Hao, Li Qiang couldn't help but smile. Zhao Hao was lying on the ground in a sprawled position, with 5 xian stones hovering above his body, slowly rotating. It looked quite amusing. Li Qiang extended a thread of true yuan energy and discreetly probed, feeling a slight surprise. The small universe inside Zhao Hao's body had already begun to take shape, but his true yuan energy was extremely weak. Relying on these 5 inferior xian stones, it was uncertain how long it would take for him to wake up from his cultivation. Li Qiang wasn't patient enough to wait and took out a superior, red flame stone. He channeled his true yuan energy to pour the energy from the xian stone into Zhao Hao's body while slightly modifying the small universe that had formed inside him. Li Qiang's effortless act brought tremendous benefits to Zhao Hao. Zhao Hao opened his eyes, clearly knowing that everything had changed. Due to crossing the Xianzhao stage once again, Zhao Hao began his first transformation. His snow-white hair, eyebrows, and beard actually began to turn black from the roots, and the wrinkles and age spots on his face rapidly disappeared. Watching him rapidly transform from an old man into a middle-aged man, Li Qiang was once again astonished and thought to himself, it seems that all cultivators cannot be judged by their appearance. Zhao Hao, amidst his surprise, admired Li Qiang to the extreme. Zhao Hao knelt on the ground and respectfully kowtowed, saying, "Disciple respectfully thanks the master." Li Qiang sighed and said, "Alas, I fear kneeling the most, but you insist on doing so. If you continue this, I will disown you as my disciple. Get up quickly, this is the precious sword I give you." After meticulously finishing his kowtow, Zhao Hao stood up and said, "Master, etiquette cannot be neglected." Taking the precious sword, Zhao Hao's eyes flashed with surprise and delight, and he exclaimed, "What a fine sword! What a fine sword!" Li Qiang smiled and said, "Try channeling your genuine qi into it." The precious sword emitted a misty green light, and the blade seemed to have mercury flowing inside it, flickering between reality and illusion. Zhao Hao exclaimed, "Indeed, this is a divine weapon of the immortals, truly extraordinary." Li Qiang said, "All right, let's leave the formation. I wonder how long we've been cultivating." He dispelled the defensive formation, and the two of them walked out of the room. The noise almost hit them like a wave. They're out, they're out. Quickly go tell the leader, Lord Li and the old master have emerged from secluded cultivation." Zhao Hao frowned and said, "What's with all this commotion? Such lack of discipline. Call De Gui over here." Li Qiang sensed that something was wrong and asked, "What's going on?" "Hanlin City is under siege. The leader comes here every day, but we can't get close to the house. Our throats are hoarse from calling out. Yes, even the magistrate has come several times." Amidst the chatter, Zhao Degui hurriedly ran over. "Father, Lord Li, it's great, you're finally out. The magistrate was almost driving me crazy." "Huh? Father, you've become younger." Zhao Hao raised his hand to hit Zhao Degui and scolded, "You speak incoherently and messily. What's the hurry? Let's talk inside." He bowed to Li Qiang and said, "Master, please come inside and sit." To the north of Hanlin City lay the Sighing Forest, to the northwest were the Red Rock Petrified Mountains, to the west was the desolate Gobi Desert, and to the southeast was the famous Green Basin. Therefore, Hanlin City was also an important military fortress of the former Song country. In the desolate Gobi Desert to the west, there was a fierce and cruel bandit army called the Black Flag Army, whose leader was named Ngang. He was rumored to be a cultivator with excellent martial arts skills. He had 7 flag generals under him, each ruthless and cruel, leading 2,000 to 3,000 men. They were all uniformed cavalry, swift as the wind, specializing in raiding passing merchant teams and sometimes harassing and plundering the border. This time, they had raided Hanlin City. and 4 of the flag generals had come with over 10,000 men. Just as Zhao Degui finished explaining the situation, a servant boy rushed into the room in a fluster and exclaimed, "It's not good, the city has fallen." Zhao Hao, after all, was the owner of the Silver Mansion and had seen many storms over his 70 years. He looked at Li Qiang and said, "Master, forgive your disciple's rudeness." Li Qiang nodded. Li Qiang appeared calm on the surface, but his heart was in turmoil. He had never experienced warfare before, and although he had watched movies and read novels, he had only done so as a spectator. This time, he had to face it personally, and he really didn't know what to do. Degui, gather all the family members, young and old, in the courtyard. Don't bring too many things, hide all valuables. Everyone prepare their own weapons and hurry. Zhao Hao turned to a warrior-like figure and said, "Brother Yifeng, go gather our men. Prepare some strong crossbows and 3 carriages. We'll retreat from the east gate." The entire Hanlin city was in chaos, with smoke billowing in the sky, the streets filled with commotion, and the neighing of war horses in the distance. Li Qiang felt unsettled and hurriedly began preparing as well. He secretly rejoiced that he hadn't been lazy and had cultivated 3 weapons. Unfortunately, he hadn't had time to cultivate the armor. With a wave of his hand, he put on the red flame dragon shield, equipped the eagle strike crossbow, and held the 100-blade spear in his right hand, immediately calming his nerves. With the weapons on his body, Li Qiang's entire demeanor changed, and a powerful aura slowly emanated from him with each breath. Zhao Hao felt a heavy pressure forcing him to step back, deepening his awe and respect for Li Qiang. "Master, when the Black Flag Army breaches the city, they have a habit of slaughtering everyone. Please, have mercy and don't hold back." Zhao Hao's decades of experience were not just for show. He was a cunning old fox. As soon as he saw Li Qiang hastily equipping his weapons, he knew that the latter had never experienced combat before and couldn't help but give him a reminder. He wasn't worried about Li Qiang's safety, knowing that he could definitely protect himself. In no time, everyone had gathered, and Zhao Hao began giving orders calmly. "Brother Yifeng, you lead the sword and shield team to clear the way ahead. Degui, you take charge of the crossbow team to protect the carriages and support Brother Yifeng with your crossbows when necessary. I'll lead a team of spearmen to cover our retreat. Is that clear?" It seemed that the people of the Silver Mansion were not strangers to this kind of situation, as they appeared calm and composed, likely having undergone training before. "Father, why do you have to be in charge of the crossbow team? I'll cover our retreat." Zhao Degui was anxious. "You idiot, do you think your martial arts are better than mine? Can you hold the line against the Black Flag Army's charge? You fool." Zhao Hao scolded. "I'm just worried about you," Zhao Degui mumbled. "Hey, what should I do?" Li Qiang thought to himself, "I should also be considered a top expert. Although I haven't learned martial arts, I have good weapons. Besides, my disciple's matter is also my matter." Zhao Hao wouldn't let such an opportunity slip away. "Master, please stay in the middle to provide support. Wherever the situation is dangerous, please go and assist. Is that all right?" "Good, let's do it this way," Li Qiang agreed. Li Qiang held the 100-blade spear upside down and stood on the roof of the middle carriage, feeling quite cool about himself. As they turned a corner, the thunderous sound of hoofbeats came from the west, and the Black Flag Army arrived. Zhao Hao loudly commanded the entire team to retreat east while he led a group of over 20 spearmen to guard the street intersection. He intended to hold off the Black Flag Army, and by some time, the carriages gradually moved away from Zhao Hao's team of spearmen. Li Qiang realized something was wrong. He couldn't see them anymore, so how could he provide support? He jumped off the carriage and said to Zhao Degui, "You guys go ahead first. I'll go help your father." Hurrying back to the street intersection, he saw Zhao Hao wielding his precious sword and valiantly fighting from afar. 2 flag generals charged forward, and the spearmen all turned pale. Zhao Hao knew this was bad and shouted, "Hold your ground." He raised his sword and charged forward. The two flag generals who came were Lei Flag General Yuanba, ranked 3rd among the flag generals, and Shui Flag General Han Jingtian, ranked 6th. Lei Flag General Yuanba roared like thunder, "Haha! Old 6th, there's actually a foolish man who dares to stand in our way. Watch me cut him down." He urged his steed forward and swung his thick-backed mountain-cleaving sword. What Yuanba and Han Jingtian didn't expect was that this time, they had run into a tough opponent, and there was an even tougher one coming their way. Zhao Hao, in his youth, had a nickname called Crazy Blade for his reckless and fearless fighting style. As he faced the thick-bladed chop from Yuanba, a sneer appeared on his face, and he shouted, "Well done." Drawing upon his newly refined Zhenyuan power, the precious blade in his hands suddenly surged upward. He intended to clash head-on and test the might of his new blade. Seeing the danger, Shui Qi, General Han Jingtian, exclaimed, "Yuanba, be careful. That's a precious blade." He leaped down from his horse, drew his sword, and rushed forward to intervene. There was a deafening explosion as the powerful energies collided and dispersed. Zhao Hao was surprised to find that with just one chop, a renowned general of the Black Flag Army had fallen from his horse, forcing Han Jingtian to retreat. His confidence soared, and he laughed heartily, "Ha ha ha. This path is blocked." Seeing their leader's might, the spearmen's spirits lifted. Yuanba was terrified. If not for Han Jingtian's warning, he would have been finished. Damn! Who the hell is this expert who suddenly appeared? His precious blade is too good. Greed stirred within him. Yuanba and Han Jingtian exchanged a glance and shouted in unison, "Attack together, men." Zhao Hao cursed loudly, inwardly lamenting his predicament. He wasn't afraid for himself, but he worried about the spearmen he had brought with him. Angry and determined, he wielded his precious blade and charged into the enemy ranks once again. The spearmen were no match for the battle-hardened Black Flag Army. They suffered 7 or 8 casualties in the initial clash. Just as they were feeling hopeless, an invisible pressure pushed forward. Someone shouted, "Don't panic, everyone. The Great Master is here." The spearmen stared in amazement as tiny, golden-glowing eagles, each no larger than a palm, flew out from Li Qiang's hand. After circling briefly in the air, they dived swiftly, emitting a clear chirp before burrowing into the bodies of the Black Flag soldiers. Moments later, the soldiers' bodies exploded. In an instant, none of the Black Flag soldiers surrounding the spearmen were left standing. "You guys hurry and catch up with the front team." "I'll handle this," Li Qiang said, trying to suppress his sadness at taking lives for the first time. Li Qiang had never imagined that the Eagle Strike crossbow would be so powerful. He had just been testing it out, and it had killed 31 Black Flag soldiers before he could even stop it. Zhao Hao was overjoyed and said, "Master, you guard the intersection. I'll handle this." "Huh, you're really rejuvenated, old man." Seeing red, Lei Qi General Yuanba raised his blade to fight Li Qiang to the death. But Han Jingtian kept his cool, grabbing him and advising, "Third brother, don't be impulsive. This man is beyond our abilities, let's retreat and find the Flag Lord." He then shouted loudly, "Retreat, men. Hey, you two experts, dare you leave your names?" Zhao Hao laughed heartily and replied, "A true hero does not change his name when he walks or sits. Remember this well. I am Crazy Blade Zhao Hao. As for my master, you are not worthy to ask about him." Zhao Hao felt incredibly elated and satisfied, more so than he ever had before. Watching the large contingent of the Black Flag Army retreat like a tide, Li Qiang said with a bitter smile, "Let's catch up with the team." At this point, the Black Flag Army had begun to ransack and massacre the city. As they walked east along the main street, the scenes they witnessed made Li Qiang feel like he was in hell. Corpses were everywhere, and many severely injured people were screaming in agony. After the Black Flag soldiers finished looting, they set fire to the buildings, causing smoke and flames to rise everywhere. Zhao Hao slew a Black Flag soldier who emerged from a house carrying a large bundle and said, "Master, don't take it to heart. There's a big battle here every 10 years or so. I'm used to it." Li Qiang thought with a bitter smile, "You may be used to it, but I'm definitely not. Hey, isn't that Qi the fat man's tailor shop?" Li Qiang remembered this tailor shop as the first business he had entered after arriving in Hanlin City. As they passed the entrance, Li Qiang caught a glimpse of Black Flag soldiers inside. "Please, sir, don't kill me. I'll give you anything you want." Sob, sob, "Oh God. Have mercy. Sob, sob, my dad, they took my mom inside. Please let my mom go." Sob. "Ha ha ha, the captain's getting married. Brothers, who wants to be the first groomsman? Sign up." A piercing scream rent the air, followed by angry shouts, "Damn bitch, you dared to bite me. I'll kill you, motherfucker. My wife, ah." Li Qiang had never experienced such a tragic event before, and a searing rage surged through his mind. He charged inside without hesitation, followed closely by Zhao Hao. Enraged, Li Qiang unleashed countless energetic spikes from his Byron spear, and the shrill chirping of the eagle was bone-chillingly terrifying. Even Zhao Hao, a seasoned veteran, shivered with fear. The Black Flag soldiers inside the house were torn to pieces, and the room was filled with shattered bones, rotten flesh, and splashes of blood. "Master Li." Qi the fat man sat on the ground hugging an 8 or 9-year-old boy, weeping loudly. The 6th chapter ends. Thank you for listening. This is Burz's audiobook channel. Please follow me to get updates in the first time.